Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On this channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. So last night we had probably one of the craziest state of the unions we've ever seen, and probably one of the biggest ones that'll go down in history. Kind of almost like the FOMC meetings, you know, it's the most important one until the next one. But no, this one was pretty wild. So we got some clips to play from that. And we have, man, there's just so much to talk about. We got crypto executives leaving. We have Gemini, 93% that Zach XBT is going to be exposing Gemini for insider trading. Recently, the executives, the CFO, they've left. So we also have found out recently that Jane Street was basically the perpetrator of the depegging of the UST stablecoin Terra, the Terra stablecoin for Terraform Labs, which is Luna. And so that was the 2022 crazy Luna crash that also coincided with the FTX crash. And so it seems like we're getting a lot of information that Jane Street could have also been behind this most recent crash, which is on 10/10. And so there's just a lot to cover. Obviously, recently we had the Supreme Court deny Trump's tariffs. That has sent the markets into some, uncertainty again. And we have talks of countries funding Ukraine for nuclear weapons, and also that Iran actually does have nuclear weapons. And then oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about. But we're going to try and keep it pretty solid. We're going to play you some clips. We're going to show you some posts as well, some really good ones, and we're going to show you the charts. We're also going to give you our case scenario, our bullish case scenario, our bearish case scenario for Bitcoin and the overarching cryptocurrency markets. We're going to talk about some alts. We're going to show you probably one of the most important charts that I think we can focus on for a potential bottoming for Bitcoin, and also for the start of the rally for altcoins. Let's get into it. Okay, now it's a potential that Bitcoin could be trapping people right now in this relief rally of the basically 7-week downtrend that we've been on Bitcoin. So basically, the bar pattern that we were expecting for Bitcoin right here from this move, this is actually what gold and silver did instead. So gold and silver, if you were to put gold on this chart, same price scale, gold did that pattern, not Bitcoin. So if you were to just have thought, okay, whatever you thought Bitcoin was going to do in the beginning of, or basically at the end of 2025, we did the complete opposite. So while Bitcoin was a lot easier probably to sell off, and this is a point that Tom Lee makes, is that, the cryptocurrency markets are more liquid and are usually quicker to sell off. You can sell crypto off 24/7, 24 hours a day. And so that makes it more liquid and makes it a first thing that you're going to sell. Other things are going to be a little harder to sell. It's like gold, you're like, if you're going to be actually, selling physical gold and you have a lot of it, that's like a lot of steps. That's not going to happen in 2 seconds like you can do it on chain or on the blockchain. So this is why from this top and from all of the different quote events, it's obvious that crypto is going to be the first one to sell off. But then if you inverse this, on just the same way that it's the first and easiest to sell, it's going to be the easiest to buy too. So we have to then now think, okay, we could DCA and not try and time the market. You know, if you're just dollar cost averaging, all right, I'm getting cheap Bitcoin at 67. I could get it cheap at 58. You know, maybe it's even cheap at 75. Because if you're macroing this from how Bitcoin has been over time, okay, well, we found some type of bottom at 16,000. It even went back down and went to 19. You could have even bought the top at 25. Who cares? Because if you're going to be holding it long term, you just bought $25,000 Bitcoin, dollar cost average, and you're still in profit if that's been your average price under 60K. So that's how dollar cost averaging wins. When you're dollar cost averaging in a new market structure like this, you could DCA at 60 at right now. You could DCA it if it ends up going back to this $50,000 level. And as long as that dollar cost average basis then stays, under what then will be the new market structure of Bitcoin going over 200K, then you're like, all right, let's go. Because then once we go into the next bear market, then what's going to be the next bear market? Low. Hopefully not as low as what your dollar cost average basis is. So it really is, my friends, all relative into when you are going to be entering this market and starting your investment journey. And if you have round tripped it again, So welcome, my friends. Hope you're doing well. We started the live stream early. We wanted to just kind of get it going. We're not going to live stream for too long. We're just going to live stream for about 40 minutes or so. But I think the thing that we want to point out here the most on this particular chart is that I don't really see the downtrend stopping until we hit this order block. I've kind of now on the weekly and on the daily, when I start looking at this chart, I'm like, it makes total sense with the wicks. Like they're just like buying it up real quick right here, but then they're wicking it. And then it's just not sustaining. I haven't seen, there's not a week here that's been able to sustain or go up green at all, or even turn green. So I believe we still have a little bit more to go. I originally made a video calling for 50K, or at least going into the 50K level as like the last capitulation. And I thought it was going to be CZ, Black Swan FUD or something, or Justin Sun, getting, I don't know, just something with Justin Sun or CZ, Binance. And it's looking more like it might be Gemini, and then Gemini ends up, going under. And that was like, wasn't even expecting that, because we do have Polymarket odds for traders on Polymarket. 97% think Gemini Exchange will be exposed by Zach XBT for insider trading on the 26th. So this is pretty crazy. So Gemini shareholders can't catch a break. And the exchange said on Tuesday that it parted ways with its CFO, its COO, and its CLO. So three members, while preliminary results point to losses near 600 million last year. The IPO was not good, and it's not looking good. And then you think, I connect the dots. I connect stuff. When people are like ready to like exit out. I think Miss Randy, Miss Teen Crypto, Randy Hipper, not Teen Crypto anymore. I think she's like 22 now. So, but she's been in the game for a while. I think she was making crypto content when she was like 16 or something, 16 or 17. So that's crazy. But she was sponsored by Gemini, powered by Gemini. And, but now she is sponsored by Uphold. So, or at least partner with Uphold. But yeah, I find this is crazy. So a lot of the times the poly market doesn't lie, and when it shifts like this pretty quick, things are happening. Let's look at the Gemini stock. So while we're having that kind of bearishness with something like Gemini, We have Circle up 20%. So I told you guys about Circle, said that Circle, if you're familiar with it, we'll go to the Gemini stock real quick because I want to point this out, because like Gemini today is up 20%. And why? It's because USDC is still second in market cap for stablecoin, and it's going to probably be the institutional pick in a sense of like against like with USDT. There's some speculation and a lot of stuff going on with USDT, I think, with Howard Lutnick, that I think is probably, that's why there's a USDC. It's like if we just had USDT and there was no other stable coins, but then we got states doing stables, we got companies doing stables, we got all these, you know, institutions and entities that are going to be having their own stable coin. But which one is actually going to be truly stable? Which ones have it depegged, and which ones are going to be the ones that you can use on multiple chains and use it no matter what? If you wanted to do a DeFi, ZK EVM protocol to make sure your transactions are shielded, or if you just want to just use it and not care at all, you know, it should be freedom to do whatever. In that sense, that's what DeFi is all about. That's what crypto is all about. So I'm curious, Circle is the issuer for USDC. And we said that at a point, this thing's going to bottom and it's going to start ripping when we get that Clarity Act, when we get the, you know, the full scope of crypto regulation in the United States. Then these particular stocks, and if Coinbase does actually get, you know, succeed at whatever they're trying to do, is to get the market share for people to come in and use their app. It's been, you know, we'll see. We'll see, Coinbase. You're my least favorite exchange because you're just like, it's like you have the most control and you have the worst product. So I don't get it. So, because it's like I use exchanges that don't have like the quarter of the money that you do, and they why do they operate better than yours? It's like, what are you even spending your money on? Oh yeah, millions of dollars advertisement on the Super Bowl for a sing-along that didn't teach anyone about crypto. Cool. I wonder who was in that marketing. Probably, I don't even want to say it. I want to say it. Some brilliant liberal arts marketing person. That's like, I just got out of the meeting from Cracker Barrel. Let's change the whole entire logo and make it look like a modern McDonald's. But no, I digress. This is, I think if we focus on some of these crypto stocks, I'm not saying to buy them, just keep them on the radar. And think about Robinhood. Think about how Gemini, that they had terrible earnings, and they're a crypto exchange. Their earnings were terrible. They're a crypto exchange, but all of the metrics say that it was just like that you're doing terrible. How is it that Robinhood, which is not a crypto exchange, made most of their revenue from crypto? What? That's so weird. So it's like, that doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. So you would think like, oh yeah, Gemini's for sure. Like they'll crush it on the IPO. Oh, they got this XRP, you know, credit card or whatever, Bitcoin credit card. Oh, they're going to smash it. But now they're getting investigated, and it's 97% chance that there's insider trading. And most people are going to be like, yeah, I'm probably not going to use Gemini now. Then people were giving Robinhood a bad rap, but then they're doing better revenue than an actual crypto exchange. And it's sitting at amazing support on the trend line, and it's at its bottom at $76 and getting back up to its all-time high, 118%. You know, you're looking kind of like more macro set. Oh, and gosh, look, it's cup and handle breakout. Cup and handle breakout right here would be from the handle, 293. So actually it'd be a $300 Robinhood. And you guys got to remember, like, you got to remember about how retail really operates. They go back to what they remember and what they know. They might use a new product, but most people remember pulling up Robinhood and how it looked and what the stocks looked like, and then the crypto, and and then they watch them all come and buy Doge again on Robinhood. How funny would that be? And then, not to mention, Robinhood, remember, they listed Pepe, they listed all the necessary things for retail to come in and say, damn, Bitcoin, still looks really expensive. And do I have to buy a whole Bitcoin? I don't know. I think I have to. It looks like it shows, I think, because then people still don't even go in and know that they can fractionally buy Bitcoin or ETH, but they'll think that they're like, look, I could buy these many Pepes, I could buy this many Dogecoin because I only have $50. That's the retail conversation. That's the mind share conversation that's going to happen again. And I don't want you guys to be surprised or sidelined when the old dogs and frogs and things that, are represented in, represented in the culture are just going to start ripping again. But it's all based on still sentiment with Bitcoin and sentiment with ETH. So that's huge. That still hasn't changed. But the difference, here's the thing. I've always been bullish ETH. I love Bitcoin. I love ETH. I like the fundamentals about both of them. I think it's cool. It's like the fact that there's like the miners and the elusive thing of Satoshi, it's all great. It's a great story. It's a great financial story, and I want to be a part of it. Ethereum is also a great story too, because you're thinking, damn, that's so cool. Like internet programmable money contracts. You can just do anything that anything you want, really. Build any kind of program, and it's just like an internet money computer, That's super cool. And I think if you want to think about what could actually scale the best over time, and what we actually are going to be using this kind of thing for, it's Ethereum, right? It's Ethereum. Like, I'm not going to bet against Ethereum and Vitalik in the nature of how ETH has been still the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap. Okay. And I need ETH to be bullish. I need it. You need it. If we want to actually make money, like insane life-changing money gains that is like liquid, it's on ETH, baby. Where else do you think it's going to be? It's on ETH. And then relative to what is connected to Ethereum is how we're going to dominate. It's as simple as that. So I think ETH is so ready to just smash. I mean, look, it's on the damn, it went home already. It's already home. It went home, damn it. It's already been, it went home. It ate the supper. It visited with friends. It had the touchy-feely, with its parents and, all that stuff. But I think, okay, cool. Now it's time to go. It's time to go back. And I'm calling for the 10K ETH, man. I'm not afraid to call for it. It's overdue. I'm tired of the bearishness of people with ETH. I feel like they don't understand it. I've been able to understand crypto way more and have been able to get better at it through Ethereum existing. And it's where I've put a lot of my money. I've put more money in Bitcoin probably over the years as a DCA. But then when I think second to it, it's ETH, It's ETH, it's meme coins, it's the community stuff. Yeah, and everyone's focused on Vitalik selling ETH, but no one's asking what he is buying. Well, he's probably freaking buying stuff that's going to benefit the ecosystem. I don't think he's like, oh yeah, let me just like sell all my ETH and then I'm just going to exit out and go be a furry. No, the dude's working, and I think, and I've just said this jokingly, but I swear, man, if ETH or if Vitalik's managers and his team, because Vitalik has a team, he's got people, he's got guards, he's got advisors, he has people that, you know, are helping him navigate his brain. They need to suggest having a meeting with Trump. If that even just caught wind that Vitalik met with Trump and like just chatted with them, just like no, you know, just like a chat, shook hands. Oh my God. Like, do you understand? Woo. But I know that's not going to happen. It's going to be more or less like, you know, it's more or less like we hear Howard Lutnick is long ETH, you know. That's as best as we're going to get. That's probably as best as we're going to get. We're never going to get Vitalik and Trump meeting in the same room and it being filmed or it being whatever or being some kind of thing. But I think if we all rallied to Vitalik to say like, hey, if you just like met with Trump and just had like a chat, like a fireside chat with Trump, and Vitalik could just like unload on Trump, like just Vitalik's brain, just like explaining like ZK, EVM, and consensus of why things should be decentralized DAOs, but then also going into all of his philosophies of how he thinks the world should operate. Trump, and to see Trump's face, like it would be hilarious. It would be said ETH would go to 15K like in seconds. It would just pump so hard. This is the thing, like you guys forget how much power we actually do have. That's why I get sometimes frustrated, because I then realize, man, if we all had a way of actually, like we did, we had two catalysts, and I always want to bring this up because it's like we have to remember this. If we forget that we were able to do it before, how are we going to do it again? Like, we have to know that we could actually all buy Ethereum right now, and just from the sentiment alone of everyone being like, hey, let's all buy ETH, everyone's meme coins would pump. Even the ones on the other chains. Even the ones on the other chains would pump. We all just buy Dogecoin, and Dogecoin goes to $1. Guess what? Your favorite meme coin starts to pump because it's called collective consensus of the mind share of like, oh my God, I don't want to miss out. FOMO starts intensifying. People just start literally throwing. They're like, Fry, take my money. They're like, that's what happens. But no one wants to believe it. They want to believe that they need everything else to work out. It's stupid. It's like, it's not really the case. It's that we did have something that we rallied behind and we forgot about it. We just forgot about it. We totally forgot about it. Yeah, I'm really, really bullish ETH. I think if anything, as ETH looks way better than Bitcoin right now. ETH looks way better than Bitcoin. It's funny because, like, you know, we were all trashing ETH hard, and you know, while Bitcoin is going up. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not falling for this crap. I'm not falling for it. I don't think that was the bottom. If you want to know if I think the bottom is in, I do not think the bottom is in. I think we're going to go to $55,000. We're going to go to like 50K. We're going here somewhere. We're going here. Do you see these green boxes? These things don't lie, and they're like magnets. It tried to hit it and it didn't do it because this is what the market does when it tries to do clawback shit and it goes dun 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 ba 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 wank, and then you just get wanked. They're like, let me trap these freaking longs right here. You don't think you're gonna get your ass trapped right here? You can still long it, but know you're scalping, and the damn thing's probably gonna go right in this circle. I've been dead on with my prices pretty, over the past couple weeks. We've kind of traded on it, and then a lot of it we've kind of just been sitting on the sidelines because we've just been like, look, we just got to let this thing shake out. There's too much shit happening for them to just give it to us now. There's no way. Why? It's like, for me, I feel like it's like all these people are getting evacuated from places. They're all getting they're all like, all intelligence is pointing to, central intelligence is pointing to that something's about to happen in the next couple days. And then you got March 3rd, you got a blood moon. That's all prophecy stuff, It's like, wouldn't that be perfect for a setup for the last capitulation for crypto to then finally, last Band-Aid rip, get it over with. Just get it over with already. It's like, this is just like you're playing games with people at this point, and just get it over with. Get it over with. Look, from the top to the bottom here, it was only 52%. That's freaking nothing, dude. That's nothing. That's nothing. Look, we still need 62. Look, we've gone down actually 75% before in different bear markets. So I don't think it's freaking over, guys. I'm sorry, but now I'm like, it's like I was bearish and I'm more bullish ETH, but for Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin's going to 50K. So from the top here, 126K, going down to the right here, that green box, 53. That would be 50. That'd be 58%. We go right down to the wick. We go down to this order, about 60%. That's at 50K. Okay. Now, if you remember, we'll go down to this. We'll go down from this top. Now, in the previous bear market, we went down to 16K. That was 76%. Okay. 76%. But from that 76%, on the bottom, we went up 735%. From January 2023 to October 2025. And the RSI, interesting enough though, the RSI has went lower than it did when we bottomed at 16,000. The RSI was like was at like 14. It was at 27 at the bottom of the bear market in 2022. And so if that's the case, if that was the bottom according to the RSI on the daily, then that could have been the bottom. But has it gone lower than 13 or 14 in the past? The last time it ever was at 14 was at 4,000 Bitcoin in 2020 during COVID in March. And then the lowest it ever was in a bear market in $3,000 Bitcoin in November 2018 at 10. So it has gone as low as 10 on the RSI, the relative strength index. And so yeah, it's kind of it's going to be a little tricky. It's like this is where dollar cost averaging comes into play. And if we want to set some limit orders, this is where that would be pretty smart. So let's look at where we could put some limits, you know. So like we're doing all this talk, we're doing all this analysis, but now let's like actually give you the price that is where you could be if you're in longs right now. So say you're in longs. I'm in no trades at all, not a single trade. I will be in some trades soon, but I'm gonna wait until here's a good short setup. So a good short setup right now for Bitcoin is to look at where we're at on the 4 hour. And you can see that we went down, we consolidated and sold off on that triangle. So that triangle formed. Usually when these triangles form, it does this, it bounces, it pinches into the top, and then it makes a choice. And usually this is a bearish pattern when we've seen this before, and then it goes down and it can consolidate, you know, about close to the bottom of where that triangle forms on, you know, right here. You can kind of see how it forms. And then it'll hit here, and that's where then we saw this bounce because that was a support level. And you can see even with the momentum wave here, you can kind of see it here again. But what you can see is that there's going to be a point of resistance. And this is where we will find if it's going to be a continuation to the downside. Because then what's going to happen is a bigger triangle is going to form where we start to then potentially do this, where we hit here in the red, and then we start going like this. We start going doot, down, and then it's just no breakout, no rally to the 70K or you know, whatever it is. Looks like it could. So I have my alert set right here at 71. I mean, then we're pushing strength, and then someone knows something, and then it's like, okay, price makes the narrative. Okay, why is the price going up? And then, oh my gosh, then, you know, some kind of announcement. But I just don't see it happen. I see more so like bearish things coming out, Gemini going under, Binance being investigated again, and then I think this is a fake out move to try and give us a rally. Oh, State of the Union, look at all the corruption. We're going to take America back. And then it's like, yeah, not yet. Probably not yet. I don't think they're, like I said before, I was like, I don't think they're going to give it to us that easy. I mean, it's like, I don't know. So I'm more so on the side that it looks more like still a downtrend, and we can time this move up here and this resistance, and all we have to do is just look and see how strong it's going to hit. And if it gets rejected just hard off of that, just know like that's a good place to short. So you could short at 69,000, at 70,000, any of these areas right here, and just set your take profits back down to exactly where we're at right now. So, well, I think Binance being investigated is simultaneously bearish and bullish. Do you know why? Because it stops the mob criminal game that they've been running along with Jane Street, along with all these market makers, along with all the things that supply their money monopoly machine. And once that's toast and we have 24/7, 24-hour tokenized stock trading, whatever, on DeFi, and and through institutional KYC exchanges that are happening in the United States, that you could just do perps now in the United States, why would you ever use Binance only in order to funnel and launder money as a giant terrorist organization or said mob? That's why you use Binance. And yeah, it's KYC'd. Bullshit. It's not KYC'd fully. You could easily be an institution or a terrorist organization and get KYC for Binance. You literally use a person. Use a person, and you can just and then you can just have multiple accounts set up. That's how they do it. How else are they able to wash trade the Bitcoin, the Solana, and the Ethereum that goes through their exchange? I don't know. But people do the investigations. I'm not a damn blockchain investigator, but yeah, I feel like Binance and a lot of these exchanges are illicit to probably a lot of, quote, money laundering. But then that's where it all goes to the whole libertarian principle is, do you debank, do you make everything not private and have everything transparent, and so to catch bad guys, but then no one's private, and then everything turns into a dystopian society. It's just like how it's like, do you ban cash because cash is laundered and used in bad things around the world, but then also cash is just energy, just money is energy, and so you can be used for good or bad. So yeah, that's where Vitalik needs to talk to Trump. Vitalik's really good at all this stuff. He's got the whole philosophy breakdown and the ethos, and that's why he built Ethereum. That's why he built Ethereum, for that freaking reason alone of what I'm talking about. Why I'm bullish Ethereum. And what I think about CZ and these little snakes around, like they were leeching off of smart people like Vitalik, and then they went off to go and create their own scam BNB chain, which is literally just a copy of Ethereum, and then a massive exchange that no one ever needed. And then they mostly nuke our altcoins that we like. Like we have projects that like actually come out with great hopes of doing something. Then it's all, oh, get it listed on Binance. And then they nuke it. It's like, okay. I never needed Binance to list any of my freaking coins. So yeah, they had never listed ticker Bitcoin, but it went up 8 times. So, whatever. Let's play some clips.
As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
For the first time ever, Elizabeth Warren stood up for Trump and clapped. She was like, okay, because she's really been fighting for this. She's like, look, she's like, insider trading is wrong. She's like, you know, she's really Pocahontas for the first time ever stood up for Trump. That's huge. But watch this.
They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay. As we...
That would actually have to be you too, Trump. Okay, so we have some bookmarked clips, we have some liked clips, and then some of it's going to be crypto related, some of it is just going to be stuff that I've kind of like had suspicion of, but this one I should have had the suspicion because I've thought about clones, I've thought about like what they've been doing for a long time with that kind of stuff, and dang it. I was like, now this makes total sense. They cloned Britney. Oh my God, guys, they cloned her. Because if you think about it, you look at the Britney that you see right now doing the knife dancing and the crazy dancing, and you're just like, something doesn't look right. Like, it just looks off. Like, something looks very wrong. And what if they legitimately cloned Britney? And there's been some e-files and revelations and things like that that people have been putting things together that they've, you know, that they funded CRISPR, they funded all these, you know, eugenics experiments and all this stuff, and it's like freaking crazy. It's getting wild out here, guys. It's getting pretty wild. And then Britney apparently was trying to tell us, and multiple times in her songs. So yeah, go down that rabbit hole if you want to. And then this is cool. Someone finally explained what a seed phrase is. And this is so cool. Like, this is the content that Coinbase should be talking about, but they don't want that, because then that would just be like, oh, so I can keep my crypto as long as I keep my seed phrase and I don't have to use you. You're making me sing. You're making me do a karaoke sing along and making me think I can trust you, making me feel good. But didn't you lose everyone's social security numbers to scammers, and now I get calls on a daily basis to try and get my Coinbase password? Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. But yeah, the seed phrase is a random generated algorithmic password. And so this guy explains it pretty well. Check it out. Go watch it.
You said they give you the 12 or 24 word seed phrase. Is it possible to choose your own phrase words? What a great question. And for anybody who doesn't know, when you create a self-custody crypto wallet, you are given a 12 or 24 word seed phrase instead of being asked to choose one. It's like your password. It is the key by which you prove you own and can do things that owners can do with their crypto. And this is not something that the developer chooses, that the app you're using chooses. This is something that is securely randomly generated, and it's part of crypto protocols like Bitcoin at the foundational level. Okay? Those 12 or 24 words are a human readable, meaning easier for someone like you or me to remember, representation of a very, very big random number.
So it's just like all those letters and the words are represented in code, and so it's basically a codex. And codexes are the basis of what cryptography came from, and this is like centuries old. It's actually cryptography, because it's all based on codexes and being able to like gather information from a set, but then it's also randomly generated. So inside of it, it's hard to actually break it. But then that's what actually Bitcoin and that whole mechanism is based off of. It's pretty crazy. So that's how you're getting the randomly generated, you know, number or said seed phrase.
That number, it is used with a little math to generate all your private keys, all your crypto wallet addresses, and the security of that system depends on that number being genuinely random. Every wallet, whether it's an app or it's a hardware wallet, a cold storage wallet, is built to generate this randomness using encrypted, secure methods. That's what the crypto and cryptocurrency stands for, is cryptography. Basically, they produce a randomness far beyond what humans can reliably create on their own. You may think you'd be able to choose 12 or 24 random words based on the set of available words, but really, you can't. It's just been proven over and over. Humans are not as good at this, and that allowing people to choose their own words would introduce some sort of security weakness, even if it felt safe. And I mentioned this comes directly from like the architecture of these networks. They were designed this way. Bitcoin and...
Nice. I like it. I like it.
You said they give you the 12 or
So yeah, it does this. There's no they. It's just like it's an algorithmic system, like a codex. And that's the whole thing about the quantum computing FUD and fear is that quantum computing will be able to crack that code and get everyone's seed phrases and then drain everyone's wallets and then or said drain the Satoshi wallet. Yeah. Just for wondering kind of like, well, what is this? Why would I need to be worried about quantum computing, blah, blah, blah? Because that's the fear, is that it would be able to crack and get your, crack all the seed phrases, crack the codex. But think about it. Think about who used codexes the most in history. Leonardo da Vinci. And they still haven't even been able to crack some of his. They still haven't even been able to crack some of his codes and his codexes and his hidden messages and some of his artwork and his journals and the elusive journal codexes that the Vatican has of all of his, his findings, his journalings, his discoveries. Yeah. So if they're still having a problem, deciphering and coding that, I would imagine that this Satoshi Nakamoto or team of said people of being Satoshi with creating Bitcoin in this type of code, it's probably pretty hard to crack it, even with a quantum computer. That's my best guess. But this is cool. Michael Saylor says the future of programmable digital credit will be deployed on Solana. But he didn't just mention Solana. He mentioned Ethereum. He mentioned all these different mechanisms that are going to be issuing digital credit, different forms of programmable digital credit services, which is basically what, Aave and Compound and Maker and like all these Rocket Pool, or not Rocket Pool, because that's more staking ETH. But think about anything that's a lending platform. That's what banks do, but the difference is that the bank model is completely different than what the DeFi crypto model is, and the way that yield is generated and how the ratios work and how people are putting stake in the pools and stuff like that. Like, it's all based on that. And so it's a completely different type of money system, right? So this is how we're going to go into the new money system, is that banks will eventually be operating on the same type of consensus, but they're going to get a bigger piece because that's what they always do. This is what the whole back push and why the Clarity Act is being delayed is because the banks aren't ready yet. They let the crypto industry innovate and do all the stuff, and then they're just like, whoa, and then so down they want the piece. Coinbase is like, oh, I saw that. We're gonna try and checkmate you. We're backing out. We got to do this. It needs to say this, and you're still trying to get control. So we'll see what happens, and it might be some kind of middle ground where all the crypto exchanges have to comply with how the banks want their their piece of the pie, and that's how this is probably all going to go down. And then at that point, that's how I think it ties into Binance and all these offshore exchanges and all the stuff like that happening, like going kaput, because it's going to be just, you're not going to be able to wash, trade, dump Solana as much anymore when it's now institutionalized. It's now a quote commodity, digital credit blockchain, and it's has an ETF. It's part of this whole like trifecta, which is like Bitcoin, Treasury, ETH, programmable, anything you want. And then Solana, same thing, but just more high frequency of doing 24/7 stock tokenized trading and issuing the stable coins to be able to do all the quick programmable digital credit. Check it out.
Now, the big idea is digital credit is programmable. And most people think programmable means like, oh yeah, I want to like do something computery with it. No, I've got a much bigger idea for you. Programmable means I take the credit and I turn it into a token, a private fund, a public fund, an ETF, an ETP, I make it a bank account, I make it a crypto account. So I turn into a type of credit. Then I put it on a platform, the NASDAQ, the London Stock Exchange, Solana, Ethereum, Binance, Coinbase, Base. I put it on Aladdin. I put it on a Fidelity mutual fund system. I offer it through Morgan Stanley or JP Morgan's private wealth, system, or the Merrill Lynch system. There are a lot of different platforms I can put that on. Now, the big idea is digital credit is programmable. And most
Pretty cool. New money system. Now, now, if you guys know Tyler Oliveira, he does independent investigative journalism on YouTube, and he has a Patreon, and he's covered a lot of topics. He actually covered the Epstein Island a while ago, and was actually, while all this stuff was breaking during the case, during the Ghislaine Maxwell, like all this, even before I think the alleged stuff that happened while he was in custody. So interesting enough, he's never been kind of debanked or deplatformed or anything like that, or page removed or anything. But then the moment that he covered, the Jews in New Jersey, they were like, nope. And then his Patreon got nuked. So yeah, everyone always warned you. You don't say, if you start saying stuff, then that's it. They're going to pull your money, and Kanye warned us. All right. So Google searches for can't sell house have reached an all-time high, guys. This is crazy. So Google searches for can't sell house have reached an all-time high. Do you want to know why you can't sell your house? Because you're asking too much for it, sir and ma'am, lady. You are asking too much for it. No one has the cash to even put a down payment on a house, for one, and they're not going to mortgage your house that's from the 50s. Okay? It's from the 50s, and you're charging $500,000 for it. I get that your grandpa built it with his bare hands, but it's not worth what you think it is. That's your sentimental worth, okay? So the real worth is that your electrical is old, your pipes probably got to be replaced, everything's got to be replaced, and guess what? People can't even afford the new housing developments of all the new houses that are being built that are now actually being... It's kind of affordable. Like, you can get a brand new house now if you wanted to in a community, but they're cookie cutter, they're smashed together. It's all the new development. There's no trees, whatever. That's what you want. Great. But people aren't even buying those houses. Those are $350,000 now, but they're brand new. There's more incentives to buy them. They're doing buy downs or whatever. They're going to give you some, like, oh, we'll help you with the down payment. We'll pay the closing costs, whatever it is. People still aren't even jumping on that. So I think what's going to happen, and I've been watching videos on this. I watch videos like this all the time with my wife. We love watching the real estate, market, because it very much ties into how our market on the crypto side and in the financial markets here with the stock market, and how capital's flowing, is that we'll get a bottom here soon. We were at the top in the peak of the housing of the prices, and then now we're at peak. Prices are still high, and we're at a massive supply. So what is that? The supply is diluted, and the prices are terrible still. So what's going to happen? It's going to crash. It's going to go down. Like, housing is going to go to where we were in, I think, some of the levels, and possibly before we had that crazy run in pandemonium euphoria, and houses could probably get another cut of like 20% of 30% of what they have the list price. So, for instance, in my neighborhood right now, there's a house for sale, and it's been for sale for forever. The 2 houses that were for sale in here were going for $370, and the only house that was for sale that did get picked up was cheaper and was more for it was like 10K less, even just 10K less. I think it sold for like 350, 360 or something like that. And that one got picked up. So you see how like the more they start to lower the prices, then the more, you know, Gen Z will come in, try and buy a house and say, okay, now I feel like it's more affordable. The rates are better. But you have to think about how big money is going to come into the real estate. The people that are in the stock market and in investments, they're going to eventually sell to then buy the cheap real estate. But I think it's all probably going to be time to where it's like at a point, I think maybe towards the middle of the year, that's when we're going to be at like a nice, we'll be kind of starting to run back up, possibly get over 100K. Market takes profits. Guess what's going to be at now the low price and bottom, and the institutions again can come and scoop up low real estate. So it's almost like, you know, we're here right now, and then the markets are going to have that kind of that adjustment. I don't know. It seems like a rinse and repeat. Like they do this all the time. Rinse and repeat. Well, yeah, I guess now they're not shadow banning me on X today. Gosh, they were shadow banning me hard yesterday. I had one person watching. They were like, oh, you're not talking about Jesus and God today? All right, we'll give you more people. That's literally what they did. So I'm like, is Nikita, are you the devil, Nikita? Jeez. And then at the same time, I get these I'm like, I never click on slop like stuff on my timeline when it comes to like chicks or like whatever the stuff like, and I get sent this stuff and I'm like, I'm not interested in this, Nikita. Like, you said you were going to fix my timeline. You said you were going to fix it. Can you freaking fix it, dude? It's not fixed. And you also, I haven't seen a single Gainsey post. I want to see Gainsey. I used to see Gainsey every day in my freaking For You, and it's not even in there. The freak, dude. Seriously, Nikita, I'm like, what are you doing? You better be working. You better be putting the cash tags and the actual crypto functionality in X and stop gaslighting us. So here, Nikita, this is what's popping up in my feed. And there's like 2.5 million interactions on here. Of course, she's getting paid, you know, by X. That's fine, Paige. Miss Paige. And I said I was spitting facts on my live stream yesterday and talking about Jesus, and I had one person in there. I'm like, damn algorithmic joke. And then, of course, Headband comes in and is like, boob. He's like, just pull up the boob chart. Let's pull up the boob chart. Well, speaking of that, you know, we did an analysis on boob. This is one of those pump fun narratives that are happening. This is all this is charity narrative. So you have charity narrative, you have AI, agent, bot, ecosystem narratives, where you have like multiple different kind of agents interacting with each other, possibly in a gamescape, possibly in a metaverse type functionality. This is like, you know, Eliza Town and all these different like bots and things like that. You got that meta. You have things like, for instance, the monkey, you know, punch, you know, you like those things hit real quick, and really they're just kind of flashes in the pan. It is, you can trade it, of course, but you just got to be prepared. Like, you know, those things sell off real fast. But if it can be something that can hold the momentum, if it is going to be based on charity, and if they're going to really if they're going to really hold it together, and people do like boobs, you know, and we want to save the boobs. And if this is true on trying to actually donate and make it part of that charity and narrative for either breast cancer awareness, any of that stuff. But we know the cancer industry is a total, absolute, complete scam. You know, that we know is a freaking scam. Like, if with all the money that they've donated to cancer research, thought they'd have figured it out by now. Well, yeah, it's a freaking scam. They want you to freaking be sick. We've already figured that out. It's already planned and know by the CIA documents that were released that we've already known about this. They've been trying to poison us, making us sick. So you think they're going to cure cancer? No, they're not. So that's why it's like, if we could actually do something cool and be like, yeah, let's actually fund actual research. So don't get me started on that crap, because I think that whole industry is an absolute complete scam. So yeah, people like boobs. I support boobs. But we did some TA on this chart. We said, look, if it can break and sustain a new high at 5 million and not nuke all the way down to 1 million, I would give this thing a second chance. So that's how I analyze some of these coins under 10 million. If you can break your previous high and it's not going to be a wick and it can show some strength and just like hit a new all-time high and do something like this. Like, it hits a new all-time high, it obviously is going to get sold, and then it kind of just, it flags. It kind of consolidates, it flags, creates a bull flag, and then goes to the next point, which would be, like I said, I think it'd be around like 10K, or it'd be around like 10 mil in terms of the market cap. So that's your best case scenario for something like this. And you can just use this analysis for any of these coins that you're trying to buy or trade or whatever it is, or you think this is a long play. You can build the moon bag. You can do the moon bag scenario where it's like, all right, well, if I bought here, or you buy in any consolidation, you buy at the lows, and then you sell at a 2x, 3x, or whatever, you keep a little bit of your supply. So then if it does end up being one of those things that runs, like for instance, like Penguin or whatever it may be, or even PSYOP Anime, because PSYOP Anime had a really nice run to like 20 mil or 30 mil. And you think you built up a moon bag, you sold, but then you're still able to, DCA. You got some wiggle room. So you're just kind of giving yourself some wiggle room. You're not getting yourself stuck, because then once you feel like you're stuck, you're just kind of like, That's the whole term of being called, quote, left holding the bag, It's kind of what happens. You get left holding the bag. But think about the people that were in Bitcoin and they, quote, got left holding the bag, Oh man, Bitcoin at 3K. Oh. There's all those Twitter posts of it's like rest in peace those people, because when you look back at how they were feeling in 2016, 2017, they're like, I just can't take it anymore. And then you think about like the amount of Bitcoin we could have been buying, but instead we were buying Xbox and PlayStation and playing video games. We're playing Counter-Strike, playing World of Warcraft. We're playing World of Warcraft Guild Wars and playing Xbox Live all at the same time simultaneously, instead of trying to think about retiring our entire bloodline and literally minting free Bitcoins. Probably most of you were doing that. Let's be honest. All 60 of you watching on X right now, yeah, you were all doing the same damn thing. You were crouching. You were prone. Yeah, no one was mining Bitcoin. You were prone with your sniper. You were like... You were crouched. You were crouched camping, weren't you? You were in Blood Gulch. You were running around in Blood Gulch on Team Red. Dang it. What were we thinking? All right, so let's see the likes today. The likes. I liked a bunch of posts. Oh yeah, so this is funny. Sneeko made this observation. He's like, all right, wait. Nick Shirley makes a video about Somali daycares, gets pushed by the entire algorithm, like just massive, just like got pushed so hard, like getting glazed, like glazed donut. Okay, so then Tyler Overa exposes how Jews in Jersey are scamming taxpayers, and then there's like not a single, there's no I don't see a massive like PR campaign happening for Tyler. He just got his Patreon taken down. He's getting Kanye'd, so yeah, there you go. Let's see what else. Oh, Calvin, I like Calvin's post. He'll pop up. Money is temporary. Sexual pleasure and addictions and all those things are also temporary. The party life is temporary, but Jesus is forever. Amen to that. Amen to that. And then someone pointed out the fact that Patreon is indirectly owned by Joshua Kushner. And if you go down the rabbit hole, the black, I'll just say, if you go down I'm just going to say black cap. If you go down the black cap rabbit hole, they seem to own everything. Oh, does he have a GoFundMe happening right now? Headband? Oh, you're talking about boob for the charity. Well, see, here's the thing that I've always had this thought about that particular industry, and it's like I can speak directly to it. It's like I have family members that have had cancer. My mom had cancer. She had to go through treatment. Like I've known people who have gone through treatment that have done a combination of different treatments, and I've just heard of all the stories. I mean, I've heard of everything. I'm sure you have too. You probably have a direct experience, with something like this. And when you just break it down and you look at the evidence and you look at the facts, you look at like what happens to the people that have breakthrough research on cancer and the way to heal it cheaply, they freaking go missing, or they die. They end up committing whatever, or in a fiery car crash or whatever, and all their research gets taken away. And then we get called conspiracy theories on what's happening. And then you go into the CIA documents that have been now leaked, that we've always been suspicious of, is that they've been poisoning the water. They've been slow killing us. It's called a slow drip. They can't do mass, kill us all, all at once. They have to do it in a slow process. And it's through the toxicity, like what, for third eye. You only need to have third eye. Yeah, third eye. They calcify it. It gets calcified with all this shit, the heavy metals. Why do you think they put heavy metals in everything? Because it decalcifies your ability to tune in to the God energy. And if you can't tune into that, you're not as powerful, and then you are basically getting siphoned. Pretty simple. So it all leads to the control mechanisms and systems that have always been in place, and now it's been come to the surface, and all conspiracy theorists are right. Yeah. Hey, guess what? All you Facebook people, I used to call this stuff out all the time years ago. Every single time, my timeline would be filled with every single thing I could throw at it to be like, you're getting psyoped. This is probably not happening. This is what's going on. Not saying I know exactly what's going on, but I'm like, look, something ain't right. And everyone always would light me up, be like, you're fucking crazy. Especially with the pizza stuff. Oh my gosh, I got lit up in my community, and everyone was like, I can't believe you would think you're just a QAnon. You're just a QAnon crazy person. Yeah. Where are you at now? Everything came out to be freaking true. Now what do you got to say? Now what do you got to say? Yeah, we don't control finance. It's so funny. Yeah, look at this. CIA files reveal plans to brain damage and kill the American people by covertly poisoning vaccines, food, and water within the deadly toxins, heavy metals. And then you think about, quote, the cancer industry and how they're just taking money from people and being like, oh, yeah, we'll find a cure. Yeah, sure, yeah. No, they have already known about it. They're causing it. They want you to be sick. So that's the whole breakthrough. It's like if we could learn that, and then we could learn that we could just not use the banks and use their mechanisms that they trap us, then we win. We literally get healthy. We literally tune into the God energy and we expel all evil. And we say his name, Jesus. Woo! Let's go, baby. That's all we got to do. But, you know, not everyone's going to wake up like that. Not everyone's going to wake up. But if there's any point in time to wake up and have perception and awareness, it's right now, because the quote system is throwing all the attacks. But guess what? The system is your ability to perceive the truth. That's the system. Your inability or ability to see the truth. And that's when the system is created for you. That's the meta. You want to know the meta? You want to know the meta? You don't even have, yeah, you watch Sneeko and all those people all you want. I literally just told you in one sentence. That's it. That's the truth. The system. Whatever you're trying to fight. It's your inability or ability to perceive the truth. Okay? That's it. And then once you see the truth, then you're like, wow, I'm way more powerful than I ever realized. And remember what the truth, the way, and the light is. It's Jesus. He figured it out. He figured it out. He figured it out for us so we didn't have to. That's the difference. You want to know what the Jesus's promise is, that he figured it out and died and did it for us so we can have eternal life and don't have to. He did it for us. So they want you to forget about that. They want you to forget about that ultimate message that I just told you right there. Don't ever forget it. Don't you ever forget it. All right, so BTC analysis before we end the live stream is that I think this is a suckers rally. There's gonna be resistance at this order block at 69,70,000, and just only if we can turn this into a Wyckoff accumulation, then we would be pushing into 76. If we push into 76, I would then, okay, my bearish 50K scenario might be getting invalidated pretty hard. Okay, so I'll just tell you that. So bullish case is we hold and we break through this order block and we don't get smashed. If we get smashed on the order block, that's it. It's 50K. I mean, 50s, we're going in the 50s. It's over. Zero. Going to zero. We'll do it live. All right, and then if it does do that, then I would expect heavy bounce on that, because that would then be the completion of the 70% downturn from the all-time high. Okay. Now, if we go Wyckoff and get just cooked, and then like it sidelines people right here at 76, then it is what it is. Then it is what it is, and everyone's going to be chasing price. And then good luck. We're all going to be like freaking, you know, running with the suit with the suitcase, briefcase flapping. Get me on this train. But thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, and this one, yeah, we mentioned this is a big thread. So Dread Bongo, shout out to Dread Bongo. Yeah, we'll have to follow this. So we were talking about the USDE as the cause, as one of the main causes for the massive depegging, deleveraging with Binance. So we were trying to remember the history of how this all kind of started to play out. So rewind. We had Arthur Hayes promoting and sending push articles and bullish articles for USDE, and Athena becoming, oh, Athena can go to $10 because of the USDE stablecoin. There's going to be so much liquidity coming in because of Binance and Bybit and all this stuff. We're going to have all these, you know, you're going to be able to use USDE as collateral to be able to get more money. And you can earn a massive yield too, 10%. Sounds familiar? That's exactly what UST was with Luna. And so Jane Street has now been accused of insider trading that actually collapsed Luna because UST depegged, which created a domino effect that destroyed 3 Arrows Capital. 3 Arrows Capital was funded by customer funds through Voyager. They were leveraged through Voyager. I was using Voyager, and also through FTX, and then crashes the entire crypto market. And so the USDE thing was building up in from where Arthur Hayes, I should find this article, which I could probably go back to my live stream where I was talking about, because I was getting bullish Athena. I was like, oh, this is gonna be like one of the biggest stable coins. It's like it will seem solid. You can earn this yield. You guys remember I was talking about it. I was like, oh, you can earn USDE yield on the TON blockchain for 10%. And then lo and behold, the depegging happened with USDE, which triggered the price oracling and all of those contracts to be completely deleveraged because it depegged. Almost like it was planned. Almost like it was the pin to, like, that was like how they could pull the pin and have the shrapnel grenade go. And that's how they were able to then probably profit massively from this, because think about it. If we were to really investigate Binance and these exchanges and their activities before 1010 happened, oh, they're over with, dude. They're so over with. I really think if you went in and saw exactly what their moves are, you'd see exactly how they position themselves to profit probably billions of dollars from people getting destroyed. Ugh. You'd never use Binance again. You never want to mention CZ's name again. You never want to have anything to do with any of those freaking scammers. That's why I don't talk about Binance. I don't talk about CZ on a regular basis. I don't post any of their stuff. I don't talk about the BNB chain. I don't give a shit what's on BNB. It's a scam. It's a bunch of mobsters, bunch of scammers. I'm ETH, baby. I'm in ETH. All right? So yeah, I think this is a bunch of crap, and Binance is definitely involved in it, being the way that they operate, and they can't keep getting away with it. Here's the thing. Randy was on her stream defending Binance. I'm over here going, absolutely not. Randy, do you live in fucking China? No, you live in America. You better start supporting America and stuff. Like, that's the thing. Like, come on. Like, it's so stupid. So I'm not going to support them. Like, I've already said it. Like, I don't even care if they list the ticker. Cool. You better not dump it. Better not offer freaking 150x leverage on us. You short the crap out of my favorite token, which you did to every single Solana AI meta that was supposed to be going to billions, and then it looked right when it hit Binance, you guys shorted the crap out of it. Yeah, they're a net negative to the industry. So I would be totally fine with them going belly up and Bitcoin going to 40K. Take the Band-Aid off already. That's what I'm talking about. Take the freaking Band-Aid off. Rip it already, because this is all because of this Jane Street, Wintermute, Binance, World Liberty Financial pay-for-play bullshit, and rip the damn Band-Aid off already. Let's go. Rip it. Rip it. 55. Let's go, baby. Dump it. Dump it. I'd rip the freaking Band-Aid off. I think this is just gonna it's gonna pump you. It's gonna get you nice and excited, but I'm not gonna be a fool. I don't care. And even if I'm wrong, whatever. It's fine. But if Jason Casper, who's smarter than I am at these cryptocurrency markets, says it's going to 40K, probably going to go to 50. Probably going to go to 50 before it goes to 82 again. And even I'd say 76. unless they're really going to try and just make a quick pop on us right here. Because from here to 76, that's a nice 11%. And then if they wanted to really take it from 76, then down to the level that I'm talking about, really get your anxiety and your, cortisol spiking, send it down another 27% to 55K. We'll see. But I'm gonna be ready. Actually, like I said, short opportunity. Look at the order block. See how it reacts to this area of price and this structure. And if we can't make a higher high right here, and it just gets smashed right here. Look, 1, 2, 3, and then just think 4, and then it's gonna just continue to go down. And this was just a sucker relief rally because people are literally going belly up right now. And one of them is probably going to be Gemini, as per the poly market. Poly market has not been wrong. Pretty much been dead on every single thing that it's been predicting per the money that's at stake and how the perception and actual events of reality are being skewed with the prediction markets. 97%. So yeah, be prepared for that. And yeah, Ozzy does make a good point. I had been talking about the 80K gap. There is a 80K gap on the CME. There is an 80K gap. Now, that's what I said. If I'm wrong and it doesn't smack here, then we just filled the gap. And we trade up and fill the gap. So then you're just going to have to figure out where you're going to want to try and go long on strength and try and not get caught, because this is where you can get trapped. Because then you're like, oh, that was it. That was the bottom. And then you get trapped in a long up here inside this range and it dumps back down and you're like, cool. So that's why I'm kind of like, I'm in no trades. I'm just watching the market. Totally fine to be like that. A good trade is no trade. And there's always going to be opportunities. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. But yeah, smash up that like button, hit the subscribe button, ding the bell. And we really appreciate you guys coming in. Make sure you check out all the links in the description. Make sure you check out the partners of the channel. Be very much appreciated. And we'll just remind you that the like button is the YouTube currency. So basically how YouTube works is that if I don't get 10 likes before the first 15 minutes, they say F you to my stream. They're not going to put it out into the search unless I get 10 likes in the first 10 minutes. So our goal with this channel, when we go live, is up to you guys to smash up that like button, share it, get just whatever it is. I don't even care if you just hit it and then go hit it and quit it, go leave. But the likes is what YouTube, it shows you like it. And then it will go out into the search. But I have to get 10, not in an hour and a half. I have to get 10 in the first 10 minutes. And then it will shoot it out there and get people into crypto. We're battling, not shadow banning, but we're just battling a sentiment battle. If you guys can just be bullish with me, it will put it out to people that are mildly interested in crypto. And then they might get actually interested in it. It's not even just about trying to get people to buy, because that's not our job. It's just our job to educate. We're not a financial advisor. But I think we could do a pretty good job at probably getting you pumped, getting you in the mindset to not get psyoped. And that, as in crypto, is a perfect catalyst to train you in doing so. So let's go. You want to join the Dano Dojo crew? Check out all the links in the description. PHEMEX, Apex, OURBIT, those are our favorite 3 exchanges. And if you want to join the Telegram group, we have just a signals channel, and then also in the Discord. This is where you can directly interact with the community. You can post memes, you can post your trade setups. You have a little bit more freedom inside the Discord to, show me your personality, show me who you are. And then, yeah, just if you want to donate to the channel, if you like what I do, if you like to support the channel, you can feel free to donate here. And we just really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much and have a good rest of the day. Peace.